Indiana Pacers going into this season were a complete afterthought. I don't think anybody besides Pacers fans, maybe, I don't even know if Pacers fans thought that this team was capable of starting out the way that they have. Of course, it's early in the season. Surprises are natural. They are inevitable to start any NBA season. And especially this year, we've had so many teams. Utah Jazz, Sacramento Kings, unlikely powerhouse teams early on. Now, we know it's not going to last in a lot of these cases. Every year, there are some teams. Think about the Washington Wizards of last year starting out 10-3 and then winning like 34 games by the end of the year. This is just how the NBA goes. But the Indiana Pacers are one of those teams. They currently have the 6th best record in the NBA at 11-7. They've won 8 out of 10. And at the helm of this Pacers squad has been a young star that has been solid as a rock, more consistent than almost all of his point guard counterparts in the NBA so far this season, besides maybe some of just the superstar guys that we know are going to deliver night in, night out. But anytime anybody plays the Indiana Pacers this year, at this point, opponents know what they're in for. If you're guarding this team, it's going to be Tyrese Haliburton all day, every day. Take a look at the last 10 games for all teams in the NBA. Tyrese Haliburton leads the league in passes made per game. He leads the league in passes received per game. He leads the league by a mile in assists per game, potential assists per game, points created off assists. Guy has been an absolute point god, and he's just getting better as the season goes on. How about his last 4 games? 14, 14, 14, 15 assists. He's been nothing short of incredible, finding new ways to counter how defenses are going to guard him. Like I said, they know it's going to be all him all day, and this team is still getting wins. They've won 6 of 7. They got the Brooklyn Nets last night by 11. And yeah, they haven't played the hardest schedule ever. I mean, if you look at the teams they've beat this year, yeah, they beat Brooklyn twice. They beat the Pelicans, which was a great win. Other than that, they really have not beat a lot of good teams. They're taking care of business where they should. So that's the one thing I will say. I don't really project this team to be a playoff team or anything because of this. It's a cool story to start the season with. But you look at the pieces around Tyrese, there are just so many young players on this team. Normally, having a ton of young players playing a lot of minutes on your team is synonymous with losing in the NBA. Experience is the greatest winner. That's why you trade for vets around playoff time. Stack your team up with a bunch of guys who have been there before, who have played these games, they know all the tricks. Tyrese Haliburton effectively is like a 32-year-old. He's only 22. You watch him play on the court, he knows exactly what to do on every play. He's one of the smartest young players in the league. The fact that he can handle the ball so much, he can be involved as much as he is in an offense built completely around him and turn the ball over less than 3 times a game is phenomenal. And who is his second star on this team? They've got some good role players around, guys that can shoot. I like the way they space the floor around him, kind of let him cook, make things happen, and seemingly always get a good shot for the team. And this team's got some good players. Ben Mathurin, easily been one of the best rookies this year. Buddy Hield, of course, shoots the lights out. Miles Turner is still an effective NBA starting caliber player. But to have a centerpiece type player that totally controls the game is a blessing for any head coach, for any offense that you want to run. A guy like this that distributes shots so well, always keeps his teammates happy. It's such a big part of being a point guard on a team and allowing everybody to have their rhythm. And Tyrese, he is the leading scorer on this team, but you can see the way that scoring is distributed on this team. The scorers on this team get their shots. There is great balance here. I love the way that he can pass the ball and get it back on possessions. He's never out of a play, and that always has to keep a defense on its toes. And to say one more thing about shot distribution, if you look at Tyrese's games throughout this season, he has not taken 20 shots in a game, and he almost never exceeds 16. At the beginning of the year, he had 2 games. He took 18 shots. He took 18 more shots in the second game. They lost both those games. Since then, he has not attempted 18 shots in a game, and they've gone 11-5. He's between 11 and 16 since then, and he's also locked in on the defensive end, maybe not taking those tough perimeter assignments, But your do-it-all offensive players should not be using energy to guard the best players on the other team. That's what you have a guy like Aaron Nesmith for. And Tyrese is still locked in on this end. If he's off the ball, he's great at playing passing lanes and just general defensive awareness. But I do think it's very important that people talk about this guy a little bit more, and what he's doing is something to behold, because we've seen his assist numbers just rise every season. Sacramento Kings trade, regardless of how good they're doing now, I still will never understand why they give up on a guy like this so quickly. I know you get a great player in Sabonis in return, and you want to make the playoffs now, but it's very possible that we could look back on this trade just being another blunder for the Sacramento Kings. I don't want to use this video to shit on the Kings because they're doing better than they've been doing in a long time, but still, he should make the All-Star team this year. Since he's arrived in Indiana, the assist numbers have been staggering. Like I said, he's by far leading the league in assists, and doing it in a way that he doesn't just dribble the ball into the ground and ice his teammates out. He is making the most passes in the game. He's touching the ball more than anybody. He's always moving around. He's got so much energy, so much speed. And when your best player is the smartest player on your team, I think that's going to often bode well for your record and team success in general. Yeah, even though it's not the most flashy way to play, I will take basketball IQ and decision making over every other quality, especially for your premier player. Guy's clearly a great teammate. He just cares about winning. He just cares about making sure everything's good and the team is in the best position they can be in when he's on the court. He can play in a lot of different ways. He can play off the ball as well. I don't really see a weakness in his game. It's going to be interesting to see how long they can keep this up. This team has been super hot lately. What happens when they play a really good team? I know a lot of y'all probably think this might not last long, and it may not, but it's cool to see what this team is really capable of when they try to win all these games and play as a team. It's rare that a team can play this many young players and still be this successful, winning games night in, night out. So that's going to do it. Bucketology, and I'm out. Peace out, y'all.